Now, we're going to learn to sketch parabolas, okay, without using table of values, using transformation. Alright, so girls, you actually got to know all these many cases, as you can see. From y equals x squared, which you know is this graph with the vertex at 0, 0, if it's got plus 2, really all that means is you're shifting this graph 2 units up. That's what plus 2 means. So the same graph, but you will now have the vertex at that point. Okay? What's the coordinate of that vertex now? 0 and 2. Okay? However, if you had the same parabola with minus 2, it means you're shifting the parabola 2 units down. So from here, it's going to be now at minus 2. Okay? With the vertex now being 0 and minus 2. Okay? So girls, the end note here is, and I'll write it later as a summary, if you're adding or subtracting a number outside of x squared, you're just shifting the graph up and down. Yep? Now, number 2, from y equals to x squared, if we have x minus 2 in a bracket squared, firstly, girls, if I take this x minus 2 out and make it equal to 0, what does x equal to?
2.
Yeah. Girls, see how this is x is equal to plus 2? What that means is you're shifting this graph 2 units to the right. So girls, instead of having the vertex at 0, 0, it's now at 2, 0, making the graph look like that. Okay? So can you see I've shifted the graph 2 units to the right? Now, one more extra thing that you also got to show when you do the shifting of the graph is you got to find out what that is. What does that represent on the graph?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept. So if I want to find the y-intercept, okay, what do I need to substitute here to find the y-intercept?
X equals 0.
Yeah, to find the y-intercept, remember, it's the same thing that we've always been doing. Substitute x equals to 0 in here. And what does y equal to if you substitute 0 in there? 0 minus 2 squared is? What's that? 4. Yeah? So girls, this is 4. You need to point that out because it goes through the y-axis. Okay? Similarly, girls, from the same graph, if I had x plus 2 in a bracket, what do you think it's going to shift by this time? Oh, first of all, what does x equal to here? Minus 2. So similarly, you know when we had plus 2, we shifted it to the right. This time, we have to shift the parabola to the left by 2 units. So it's going to be now at minus 2 with the same graph, okay, with the vertex coordinate being minus 2 and 0. And this coordinate right there is actually also 4 as well. Yeah, substitute x equals to 0 here. 0 plus 2 squared is 2 squared, which is 4. Okay, so you need to show the y-intercept as well as the vertex in your exercise.
So you just remove the bracket and the square.
Sorry?
If you find plus 2 or minus 2, you just remove the square.
You just remove the square? Oh yeah, you just look at what's inside the bracket and you just shift it to whatever value you get. So in general, if you get a negative number in a bracket, you're shifting it to the right. If you have a positive value in the bracket, you're shifting it to the left. I'll write all that summary up after I explain. Now, third one. Now, if you have minus in front of x squared, it's a parabola but upside down. Yep, okay, with the vertex still being at 0, 0. However, same thing here, from minus x squared, if I add 2 to this graph, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to go 2 units up. So it's the same concept as what I did here. So our new graph is going to be like that. Okay? Similarly, from minus x squared, if you do subtract 2, you're going to have the same graph, but now going through minus 2 as a vertex. Yeah, does that make sense? All right, number 4. Okay, so from number 4, it's actually a combination of everything that we've learned. So girls, the reason why I'm showing you these steps, what they'll usually do is they'll ask you straight away to sketch that. But my mentality that I want to teach you girls is to go step by step, draw that first and then that. So what I'm going to do is draw that first in black. I'm just going to draw it in dot because that's what I'm going to transform. Girls, from minus x squared, if I have x minus 2 inside the bracket, we learned from here, I'm shifting this graph 2 units to the right. 2 units to the right, yeah? So instead of at 0, it's going to be now at 2. So this is, this is my graph. Yeah, because x is equal to 2, yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not done here. What's the other thing you have to find? What did I find there? y-intercept there, right there. Yep, so if I substitute x equals to 0 in here, that's going to be 0 minus 2 squared with a minus in front. So for y-intercept, if I substitute x equals to 0, girls, shh, I can hear you in the background. Girls, what's that? What's that? Is it 4 or minus 4? Minus 4, alright? So make sure you label the y-intercept when you draw the graph because it's not complete if you don't. Alright, same thing here. If it was x plus 2 from the dotted black parabola, what am I doing with this? Shifting it. So because x is equal to minus 2, that means this time we're shifting this dotted graph 2 units to the right. So it's going to look like this. Oh, sorry, to the left. Yeah, thank you. To the left, passing through minus 4 again as y-intercept. Okay? Alright, nearly done. Girls, let's have a look at this. So sometimes they'll ask you to just graph that straight away, and it can be quite overwhelming if you try and sketch that all at once. So my mentality once again, because we've just learned how to sketch that, now let's sketch that. So we drew this right here in red. So let's just put the one, that one's in red. So minus 4, minus 2. Now, in here, what am I doing? If it says plus 1 to this, what does that mean? Yeah, so basically, I'm going up by 1, where 1 is. Oh, now, girls, what's going to be this point now, though? Minus 3. Because from minus 4, we just shifted the whole graph up by 1 unit, because plus 1 means going up by 1 unit. Okay, so that's how you would do this graph. Okay, so it's about doing it one step at a time. Okay, finally, girls, from y equals to x squared. So let me just draw that out first. We know y equals to x squared just simply looks like this. Just one extra thing. I want to label an actual coordinate on the graph. So let's pick 1, x equals to 1. If you substitute 1 in here, what does y equal to? Yeah, so girls, I'm going to label a coordinate there, 1, 1. Okay? And there's a reason why I want to do this. Because, girls, as the number in front of x squared gets bigger, the narrower the graph actually looks like. So roughly, it's going to look like this. But we can't just draw a narrow graph and say that's my answer. You need to show some details. So the detail that you show to indicate how narrow it has become is by putting a coordinate like I did there. And usually what you do is you use the coordinate x equals to 1 to compare the y value. So if you substitute x equals to 1 in here, what do you get? What's that? 2. So the y coordinate, the coordinate is 1 and 2. So as you can see, from here, it's gone narrower, and we've shown that by showing the coordinate of 2 here now instead of 1, 1. Yeah? Same thing here. If it's half x squared, the smaller the number in front of the x squared becomes, the wider it becomes. Okay? And to actually show that, once again, let's choose x equals to 1. If I substitute 1 in here, what is it? What's that? It's just a half. So to indicate that, this is where the half is. That's going to be 1 and a half. So this is how you accurately show how wide or narrow it's become. Okay? How about negative half x squared? Yeah, it's just basically this same graph, but upside down. Okay? And once again, let's indicate a point. X equals to 1 is here. Then the point is going to be, if you substitute 1 in here, what do you get? Yes? So that is a negative a half. So that's going to be 1 and negative half. Okay? So girls, as you can see, there are lots of different transformations you need to know. So as a summary, if you just have a number attached to the side, you're shifting it up or down. If it's in a bracket, you're shifting it right or left. If there's a negative in front of x squared, it's an upside down parabola, and just shift it from there. And the numbers determine how wide or narrow the graph becomes. Okay? Alright, so girls, copy this down. I'll write a summary note for each of the steps for you to copy down, and then I'll write down the exercise that I want you girls to do. Okay, so that's your summary notes.